John has been a big mentor of mine for many years. It's interesting is that I never got to meet John many years ago he was my mentor before he was my mentor, before I even shook his hand. Right. I'll never forget, he came to a convention. It was like 15,000 people in an arena. I forgot where we were at, Detroit, somewhere. And I'm sitting in the stands, in the nosebleed section. Here I am, a brand new entrepreneur, got my notebook out, and it was before cell iPhones. You can type the notes in, and here I am writing notes, and he's talking about leadership, and then he's mentioning a book called Failing Forward, and his other couple books he's read. And I mean, he's written, and he talked about failing forward, and I was like, hmm. And then he mentioned, and I even mentioned it in my book. He mentioned that how tall he was, like if he fell on his face, that he would be that much closer to his goals and dreams of where he wanted to be. So I say I'm 5'9", and if I fall flat on my face, I'm 5'9" closer to where I want to be. That right there intrigued me
Mm.
to read the book. To like, wait a minute, I like that. I really like what he said. Like I'm gonna read. So I read the book, and I was like, wow, this book's amazing. I think John wrote it about me. He don't even know me, but he wrote it about me because those when you feel like the book is connecting with you, you want to read it. You keep wanting to read the book, right? So when I learned that failure is not failure, failure is fertilizer, and if you learn from it and you grow from it, it's the best thing ever. Because we're taught as kids, if you get an F on your, at school, it's bad. You'll fail. You fail. And if I brought an F home, my dad's old school. I don't think you could spank kids nowadays or whatever, but you couldn't bring those kind of grades home, in my household. So it was like that was bad. But when in life, in business, if you learn from it and you grow from it, it's the best thing ever. And I was like, wow, because when I got kicked out of high school, I did good in school. I had great grades. I played baseball. I was doing great things. And then I got in trouble, hanging around with the wrong crowd, got expelled from school because we did some stupid stuff. And then I felt like I let my parents I was a failure. I felt like I failed. And I always had this chip on my shoulder, like I failed. I let my family down. They sacrificed so much for me, and I let them down. And so when I got into this business venture, because I did carpentry work as we talked
Mm.
about. I was a maker, architectural woodworking, which we both
Mhm.
for me, and molded me to grow up fast. But when I got into business, it was an opportunity for me to show people, especially my parents, my family, my grandparents, that I wasn't a failure. And that book, Failing Forward by John Maxwell, I even told him about this. I did a project with him. I mean, what fast forward now, but I've got to know John. I've got to do projects with John. I got to go to a Braves game with John Maxwell. I mean, it's amazing. It's like I got to pinch myself, to go from seeing him in the nosebleed section to be able to do projects with him is pretty amazing. So